A lot of people have been asking, who is Pierre Poilievre? Now, many of you guys may already know that Pierre Poilievre is the leader of the opposition, and he is the leader of the Conservative Party, and he is most likely going to be the Prime Minister of Canada in the upcoming election. In this video, I will be covering who exactly he is. I'll be going over his story, and we'll just be talking about what exactly he's all about. Okay, because there's a great article here by the Canadian Encyclopedia, that really goes through his whole pretty much life story. So let's get right into it. I've already read this article, but I'm gonna go over it. I'm gonna cover the main things, and then you guys can make your own judgment about whether or not he's a good prime minister for this country, or whether he is going to be a good prime minister or not. So he became the leader of the official opposition in 2022, as you guys know. He's been an MP for the Ottawa riding of Carleton, which was Nepean Carleton. He's been there since 2004, guys. So he's been there for 20 years, man. 20 years, okay? He was the youngest MP in Parliament ever, okay, ever. He became a cabinet minister in Harper's government, so that was another big thing that many people talk about. But what many people tend to talk about is how he didn't really get a big role. Like, he didn't get finance, he didn't get defense, he didn't get foreign affairs. Like, those are the big three, right? And he didn't get those. So, many people have some questions about that. But anyways, so as you guys know, he became the leader of the Conservative Party in 2022, mainly due to a lot of support following the disastrous election of Aaron O'Toole, in which Aaron O'Toole was leader. That was terrible. But anyways, let's keep going. So about his early life, Pierre had a teen mom. I think he was born to a teen mom, so he didn't know who his biological mom was when he was growing up. So he was put up for adoption, and as it says here, he was adopted by two teachers, Donald and Marlene Poilievre, and that's really where he became a conservative, because he realized that it's not up to the government to try to fix people's lives. It's up to the community and up to the different people that are in that community to help uplift the people that are most vulnerable. And that's something that I agree with as well. So yeah, obviously growing up in Calgary in Alberta, so he's an Albertan. He enjoyed hockey, diving, and wrestling, and but what they tend to emphasize is that he really loved politics. He really loved politics, and at his high school, he was part of the Conservative Club. Shocking, and he was a delegate in the Model United Nations organization at the University of Calgary. So that's another thing. Um, so yeah, obviously he had some experience with or had some interest in diplomacy through Model UN. I also did Model UN. I still do Model UN, so it's very fun. But I'm not really surprised that he obviously did that. Now, yeah, so when he was 17, he attended a Reform Party convention. As you guys know, we had two different sections of the Conservative Party. So there's a lot of things that were going on at the time, but like the Conservative Party was, to put it simply, the Conservative Party was nothing in the 90s. They were decimated. Okay. And that's really where he started to get involved, and we'll get through that later on. In 2008, so he got his Bachelor of Arts in International Relations at the University of Calgary. It's important to keep in mind, in 2004, he became an MP. That's because he ended up dropping out of university. Okay, he ended up dropping out. I don't think it says it right here, but he ended up dropping out of university early, and he got elected without a degree. Like, this dude had no degree, man. That's pretty insane. You've never really seen that. Usually for Canadian politics, I mean, especially as a young, MP, you'd expect some sort of degree or something, right? He had no degree at all. So really, to be quite honest, he really had no qualification at the time. Anyways, so he was among the 10 finalists who won $10,000 in the As Prime Minister essay contest. His 2,500 word entry was titled "Building Canada Through Freedom." So again, yeah, that's sort of like the main thing that he talks about today. Freedom, free market capitalism. Now, I'll be talking about that later on and whether he actually believes in that or not. But there are some contradictions that he's had. But anyways, let's keep going. Poilievre's essay wanted the chance to meet Prime Minister Jean Chrétien, showing an early proclivity for partisan jabs. He told the Calgary Herald, "I just hope that none of my views are offensive to the Prime Minister, because many of them come into conflict with the outdated system he has run for the past years." So again, he's not afraid of confrontation. Like, this guy is ready to fight people just for the sake of it. He's always ready to tell people what he thinks. So you got to give him credit there. So yeah, when the Reform Party evolved into the Canadian Alliance in January 2000, Poilievre volunteered as a fundraiser in Stockwell Day's successful bid to lead the new party. Okay, and then he became one of Stockwell Day's legislative assistants. Now, it's important to keep in mind, Stockwell Day basically lost to Stephen Harper. He became a nobody after. Well, I wouldn't say he became a nobody, but he wasn't him. You know what I mean? Like Stephen Harper was the man. So, anyways, in December 2002, the Progressive Conservative Party and the Canadian Alliance merged to form the Conservative Party of Canada, led by Stephen Harper. There you go. And then Poilievre won the party's nomination, the Ottawa area riding of Nepean Carleton. A few months later, Liberal Prime Minister Paul Martin called election. Okay, so here we go. At 25, Poilievre won by 3,700 votes. He even told his parents he didn't expect to win because he was up against a liberal. He was up against a liberal defense minister, which honestly you're not really supposed to be cabinet ministers usually, but he beat him, man. He was 25 years old, youngest MP in Parliament, which is pretty crazy. So yeah, he quickly won national attention for his blistering partisan attacks on people and policy opposed. So yeah, again, like there's a controversy, racist race tar baby. Like there's some things that they talk about. It's not really important. But yeah, obviously you guys know how he is. So in 2006, he was reelected with 55%. 55% of the riding as well. That's a lot, man. That's a lot. And the Conservatives were in a minority government, so keep that in mind. In June 2008, the day before Harper, so he made a comment, some sort of controversial comment, before Harper was supposed to apologize to Indigenous peoples. Again, controversy, he's not really shy from it. I wouldn't say it's a bad thing to be controversial. I'd say it's actually a good thing nowadays, depending on what it is, obviously. You don't want to say something stupid, but what I find a bit unfortunate is that right away, he apologizes all the time. Like, bro, why are you apologizing, man? You know what I mean? I think he didn't apologize here, but he has apologized a few times for some things. It's like, look, you shouldn't apologize. You gotta stand on business, man. Stand on business. Anyways, so 2008, Poilievre kept his seat with 55% of the vote. Yeah, again, keeping his vote, working hard, getting stuff done. And this is all like, technical stuff. You guys don't really have to look at that. So now, here we go. Here's his cabinet ministerial time. Okay, in July of 2013, in a cabinet reshuffle, in which Harper was in charge of, Poilievre was appointed Minister of State Democratic Reform. So again, look, yes, that is a ministerial position, but guess what? It's not an important one. So nobody really knew who he was, like in terms of a prominent minister. Like nobody really cared about the Minister of Democratic Reform. Let's be honest. Let's keep going. He was promoted to Minister of Employment and Social Development in February 2015. Okay, fair enough. Still not a big role, but that's neither here nor there. So he never really got a big portfolio. So just keep that in mind. Okay. In July 2015, Poilievre announced that monthly child benefit payments for children under the age of 6 rise from $100 to $160 per child. So again, showing his desire to help people with children and families. Good thing. I support that. And here we go. Opposition MP. Okay. So here's the Justin Trudeau era, guys. I think this is the one that everybody's interested for. Okay. On October 19, 2015, 184 Liberal candidates. Okay, yeah, we already know that. Trudeau won a majority. So Harper resigned, as you guys know. And then they had a disaster with the party leadership and stuff like that. We had Andrew Scheer, guys. Andrew Scheer. You guys remember Andrew Scheer in 2019? What a terrible guy. He just sucked. He didn't know how to win. He was just weird. Like, dude was so incompetent. He couldn't have won. Then we had Aaron O'Toole again. Incompetent, wasn't aggressive enough. Dude was way too nice. And it was unfortunate. But anyways, let's keep going. So after Aaron O'Toole resigned in 2022, as you guys know, Poilievre announced that he would run for the Conservative Party leadership. Consistent with his views in high school, he said that his goal was to make Canadians the freest people on earth. Okay, fine. At least he's consistent in his message. That's fair. So, yeah. So the reason why he said he was running for the leadership of the Conservative Party was not to become, so he wanted just to make Canada free. That's this whole thing. And, he had the Freedom Convoy protest, and he was like standing with them and all that stuff. You guys know what happened. And he had some controversial takes. Now, there's some things that I don't really agree with him on, like escaping inflation by investing in crypto. That's the stupidest thing I've heard in my life. By the way, doesn't work. I'm going to give you guys a little hint. Doesn't work, okay? You're not going to escape inflation by investing in crypto. That's the stupidest thing I've heard. firing the Bank of Canada, I semi agree with that, but at the same token, like now it's sort of stabilized. Our interest rates are still lowering. Like they're not gonna go up, and they're not gonna go up at all. So at this point, I don't think it's worth firing the Governor of Bank of Canada. But anyways, it is what it is. So Poilievre won on September 10, 2022. This is the day right after my birthday. I remember this. It was I was at my house, had family over, we were watching the TV because we hosted the birthday party on the 10th, and I just saw this guy. I was like, oh my god, there's no way this guy just won, because nobody, like, if you asked me 5 years ago would this guy ever be the leader of the Conservative Party, I would have said no. I thought there was no chance. Uh, but he became it, man. He became it. So yeah, he had 9-member team that would lead the official opposition. Yeah, we already know that. Just inflation. That's actually pretty funny. Every time I go to the grocery store, I always think of just inflation. I always think of that line in my head all the time. And yeah, personal life. He met Venezuelan native. I don't know how to say that name. When she was working as a parliamentary aide, they were made in Portugal in December 2017. They have 2 children, Valentina and Cruz. Okay, so look, my view on him is, as in terms of policy, I agree with him on most things. I do. There's some things I'm not proud of. I'm not happy with the way that he's going about it. There's some things, mainly the big three. You guys can look up the big three conservative values, because he doesn't align with my views on that, and he doesn't align with any conservative for that matter on the big three. Now, in terms of his actual experience, look, let's call it as it is, guys. He really doesn't have the experience. Okay. Now, with that being said, Justin Trudeau doesn't either. Okay, we can talk about Justin Trudeau later. I might make one on Justin Trudeau, but he definitely doesn't either. Okay, Justin Trudeau clearly had an advantage because he was the son of Pierre Trudeau. So he already had an advantage there. But looking at this, like, he didn't even graduate college before he was elected to parliament. That's weird. Okay. He graduated in 2008, which, okay, fine. You graduated at what, 29, I think? Yeah, 29. Or, sorry, no. Yeah, he was 29. Which is like, okay, fine. You could graduate 29, but you were already in parliament by then. So your degree is basically rendered useless. He really had no work experience, as far as I'm aware. He had that Stockwell Day, partnership or whatever he was working for him. But to be honest with you, he didn't really work a job. He didn't make money in the private sector. He didn't really run a business. He didn't, he wasn't a lawyer. He wasn't a teacher. He wasn't a doctor. He's never had a job except for politics. So that's where my concerns lie with him. I want someone who's experienced. Okay. Personally, if you ask me who I want as prime minister, my ideal prime minister would be someone who's run a company. Because if you know how to run a company, you know how to run people and you know how to run money. And that's how you run a country at the end of the day, right? Because, like, we can look at his qualifications. Okay, and he was the critic for finance. I remember that in the 2020s. I don't know what, I think it was 2020 and 2021, right? I remember during the We Charity thing, he was a critic for finance. But the reality is, he's a critic of finance, but he has zero experience in finance, right? He has no experience in national defense. He's never served in the military. He's never he's never been a lawyer. He doesn't have a law degree. So he doesn't know how it works in terms of that kind of stuff. He's really not a rich guy. Like, he doesn't have that much money, so he doesn't know how to make money, right? So that's where my concerns lie. Now, if you're gonna ask me who I'm voting for, I think based on my videos, you guys can already tell who I'm voting for. I'm gonna have to vote for him because I can't vote for Justin Trudeau. If you were to ask me, am I extremely enthusiastic about him? I don't know, because I don't know what he's gonna do. I really don't. And the biggest thing for me is he the type of guy, when he gets a call at 3 a.m., okay, he gets a call at 3 a.m. from whoever it may be, is he going to be the guy who's leading the conversation? Or is he just going to be there? That's the question that we got to ask ourselves. And the biggest thing, in my view, is, this is my view on politics, is that if you have a good economy, everything else is fine. Okay, if your economy is running well, everything else is going to run well. So realistically, is this guy going to fix the economy? I don't know. I can't say yes definitively. I can't say no definitively either. We'll just have to see, man. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I really do think that this is an interesting video, and don't crucify me in the comments. Like I'm not saying I don't like him. Obviously, I'm saying I'm obviously going to vote for him. But I have my concerns about him. That I think it's too late now for anything to change. But I'm hoping that he can prove me wrong and fix the economy and bring Canada to what it used to be, right? So, yeah, we'll just have to see, man. Thank y'all for the support, and I will see you on the next one.